Hey, folks, I'm Sherrod Brown. It's an honor to serve you in the United States Senate. I'm joined today by a relatively new friend whom I have admired from a distance and a bit up close, Zach Green from Cincinnati, former U.S. Marine, firefighter. He's the founder of LumaWare, a Cincinnati company that partners with the Cincinnati Association for the Blind and Visually Impaired to manufacture self-glowing exit signs and glow-in-the-dark materials for firefighter gear. He will explain to you where his idea came from and what he's been able to do with that. Their products are proudly made in America, just like the suit I wear and the Jeeps that Connie and I drive. Those are made in Toledo. The suits are made in either Cleveland or Chicago. Ohioans look for that made in the USA label. I think people buy things because they see that. They want their dollars to support our communities. They know that if it's made in the USA, it's more likely to be a good quality product. They know it helps American workers. Yet too often, businesses like Mr. Green's are forced to compete with companies and marketers that simply lie. They falsely claim their products are made in the US when in reality they're made in China. That's why for years I've led a bipartisan group of colleagues to push the Federal Trade Commission and a part of our federal government to crack down on this fraud. Now they're finally now taking action with a new updated rule to strengthen the Made in the USA enforcement. Let me give you a couple examples. Company makes hockey pucks, wrapped their products in American flags, promoted them as the only American-made hockey puck. False. A Silicon Valley mattress firm startup marketed its mattresses as designed and assembled in the USA. False again. Two California-based companies marketed their gear to veterans and to service members and put American-made tags on its products. Again, false. In every one of these cases, the products were actually made entirely in China. Yet under the previous administration, the FTC did nothing. Now the new FTC rule that takes effect next month will define a clear standard. Any company that advertises a product as being made in the USA must be able to prove that all or virtually all of it was made in this country. The rule allows the FTC to enforce made in USA requirements also in e-commerce. There was nothing in the law or the enforcement rule in the past to take care of e-commerce. We know how important that is. Ohio manufacturers, like Mr. Green, rely on the integrity of the Made in USA brand. He can compete with anybody in the world, but when a Chinese company or an American company that sends its products to be made in China, brings them back here and slaps Made in USA, that competition is simply unfair because their workers cost, they pay workers less. They have no environmental rules, all the things that makes it easier for China and cheaper for China to produce things. They shouldn't be able to say Made in USA. So Made in USA needs to actually mean Made in USA. Zach Green, love to hear your comments. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thank you so much, Senator. I deeply appreciate your time and having me on today. So I am born and raised, lived in Cincinnati my entire life. I've had the opportunity to travel a little bit in the Marine Corps and a little bit after my time in the service. And one of the reasons I'm so passionate about Made in America is because of the American dream. I wore the uniform, wanted the opportunity to fight for our country and to be able to defend the American dream and what makes America, America. And my definition of the American dream is that regardless of where you're born or what class you were born into or what your race is or your sexual orientation, we should all have an equal shot. Not saying anybody should be put above anybody else, but give us an equal shot. And this is a perfect example of not having an equal shot and not being part of the American dream. That's having people cheat. And a lot of people, mainly the Chinese, are cheating. They are going out there and saying that they're made in America, when the reality is they're using very, very cheap labor, which is very unfair to those people making those wages that are below the living wages. And their environmental policy, if I could be frank, is horrible. They have no environmental policy. So every dollar that's spent here on Made in America products that are actually Made in America products, you can know that you've got supporting a good living wage, you've got good environmental policy that's supporting, and it's creating that American dream for all Americans. It could be anyone from that stay-at-home mom that decides she's going to want to go ahead and open up her own business to that retired veteran that's leaving active duty and wants to find a way to find a job for themselves. little background on myself. I started my company. I was actually had a full-time job at Eli Lilly in product and brand development in the pharmaceutical business. I was a volunteer firefighter after 9/11. I wanted to continue to give back to our country, and I just decided to change one uniform for another uniform. But something really scary happened. I got lost in a fire. Couldn't find my way out. It was very disorienting. And when I got out, I wanted to find a way that no other firefighter would have to go through that again. So I started working with this incredible photoluminescent pigment. Think of it as like a glow in the dark on steroids. And we started making it actually in Ohio through a Dayton manufacturer that made gaskets for the automotive industry. We've got a lot of rich automotive manufacturing opportunities here in that corridor, if you will, between Cincinnati and Detroit and really the whole state. So I put this glow-in-the-dark helmet band on my helmet. All the firefighters were talking about it. Over the next 6 months, I sold about $5,000 out of the trunk of my car. I ended up refinancing my home, maxed out my credit cards, took every penny that I owned, put it into the business, and I'm proud to say we now have done over $30 million in sales. We have over 100,000 firefighters in 25 countries using our products. In addition to that, we make exit signs that don't need batteries, light bulbs, or electricity, and those are now being used by 3 of our nation's 4 largest retailers, one of which is headquartered in Cincinnati. The reason I share that with you that is so incredibly important, again, is giving the opportunity to make a fair playing ground for everybody that's out there so we can keep those jobs here in America. Of all the countries that we export to, believe it or not, our number 1 export is China. And I think that's really interesting because they can certainly make my product a lot cheaper and less quality, but the Chinese buy it from us because they want to see that Made in USA label on it. Those firefighters don't trust their government. They trust America. They trust our exceptionalism and our quality. Because of that, that's why they use Made in the USA products in China rather than the other way around. So I think that was one of the most exciting things I was able to share when I won the Presidential E-Award for exporting through the Department of Commerce. With that, I just want to give a special thank you to Senator Brown. Senator Brown and I have had a chance to work together for quite a few years as he's helped me in my entrepreneurial journey. He's the kind of guy that rolls up his sleeves and actually does what he says. He's helped us out. We have a very substantial contract with the U.S. State Department where our safety products are used in the overseas buildings. We have a little bit of our products in the Capitol building. And Ohio is a place where we have such strong automotive manufacturing, aerospace manufacturing, biotech, and clean energy. But the main backbone of Ohio, and really this country, is small business. And Senator Brown has been an absolute true champion to small business that makes up 2/3 of all the new jobs here in the country. So the more we can buy America, the more that gives me the opportunity to keep those dollars here in America, hire more people, have more of my manufacturers to be able to hire people, and again, help everybody pursue that American dream.
Zach, thank you. Thanks for your kind words. Most importantly, thanks for your story. What a story of selling out of the back and first getting lost in a fire. I've never heard quite that term, but I've never been a firefighter, but lost in a fire, comes up with this technology, sells it out of the trunk of his car, then it becomes a $30 million business. So thank you. And I love what you said about that you sell to the People's Republic of China because they like Made in USA too. So great story. The one little sidelight or addendum to that is Zach's now starting a new business near Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton. And I think you'll hear more about that, everybody that's listening. So thanks for joining us on Facebook Live. Zach Green, I'll see you in Cincinnati soon. All right?
Yes, sir. Great.
Cool.
Thank you so much.
All right. You too. Thanks, buddy. See you.